Is the PS5 Pro the greatest console ever made? That remains to be seen. Is the reaction to it overblown? Is the price tag actually pretty reasonable when you factor in most economic circumstances? Find out on this episode of Playconomics. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of the Playconomics podcast, where each and every week we break down the business behind your favorite video games and give you financial context for industry trends. We've been doing this for almost 3 years now, Matt. 2 years plus.
I think it's over 3 years now, because I think we started in August.
We did. Started some shows, ended some shows, reset, recalibrated, but each and every week we're here, baby. We've casted from
pretty much
black sites all over the world. Okay,
literally all over the world. Yes,
through games of the year, through acquisitions, we've been here for you. And if you want to be here for us, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below, because it helps spread these videos and these podcasts to more people who haven't seen them yet. If you're one of those people who wants to get crazy, scan the QR code on your screen right now. Join the rest of the Playconomics over in the Discord. But that's neither here or there. Matthew, I'm feeling good.
Do a plug?
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it, you silly, silly boy. Whoa, I'm on one today, Matt.
I will tell you right now, I was this close to canceling the podcast today, and then you did a plug, and I could never do it.
You can't do it now. You're contractually obligated.
Can't do it now. So what we're talking about today, before Bobby gets into his rant, and
before I ask you how you've been,
don't care how you've been, don't care how I've been. Let's get right into the PS5 Pro, because I know that Pete, the CPA, and that one dude named Jacob in our Discord they need to know, Matt, Bobby, what do you think about the PS5 Pro? So I'm just going to give you some facts. Not opinion. These are things that were shown during the tech demo. 1, PS5 Pro comes out November 7th.
Full stop. For the record for the people at home. Who said it wasn't coming this year?
Me.
Boom! End the podcast. I'm in a good mood today. I waited my whole life for this. I've been waiting a year for this. I told you so. Listen, I posted Alex Jones could not go on the rant of "I told you so" that I'm about to go on.
Listen, if Sony wants to make a bad business decision and release a new console, more hardware with still no games, that's their own decision. I was doing it from my financial literacy point, but maybe they just need...
I took an MCAT.
Listen, not anything. MCAT is not...
No, what is your stupid MBA test?
I have an MBA.
Yeah, but there's a test for it.
Mm.
Yes. Then you don't even have a real MBA. MBA entrance test. There's an acronym for it. GMAT. Not MCAT.
The GMAT, no. That's just, I don't have time to correct you on this. What we're doing is
You also don't have the degree to prove me wrong. So.
Okay. Whatever.
I see a wall full of Funkos.
Whatever.
Not a wall full of degrees.
I used to do the wall full of degrees on the beginning of the podcast. But we're going,
baby.
PS5 Pro comes out November 7th. Bobby was correct. Fair enough. $700 price point. Only certain games are going to benefit from the PS5 Pro. Most of them first party. Too bad they don't really have that many first party games. Bobby, your thoughts on the PS5 Pro? Good decision, bad decision. Are you buying one? Do you think it sells well?
So there's a couple things to unpack there. We'll play a little good Sony, bad Sony. To answer your questions first, will I buy one? No, only because I'm not at the point in my life as a gamer where it wouldn't benefit my day-to-day play in a material difference, right? Like, I have a great
because
TV.
There's no significant difference.
You asked a question. Let me give you the answer.
I'm just giving you context
okay.
for these industry trends.
we'll do a little good Sony, bad Sony after. But will I be buying one? No. I've always kicked myself in the ass that I didn't buy the PS4 Pro because there were a couple PS4 Pros that I really wanted. That red Spider-Man PS4 Pro.
Did any of it have to do with the performance or just the design?
By the end, the performance, in the beginning, the design, and I'm sure I'll reach that now, right? Like, when it came out, PS4 Pro came out 17? I think 17. PS4 Pro launch.
It came out 3 years after the 4.
16. So PS4 Pro came out 16. I got mine PS4 late 14, early 15. Right? I didn't get it right at launch. I didn't get PS4.
Yeah,
right
so there was
launch.
no reason for you to
So there's no reason.
Yeah.
And I never, like, the games I wanted to play, I played on a monitor, not a TV at the time. So I don't necessarily think it was a 4K monitor. It had all the bells and whistles, but it was a 34-inch monitor. It wasn't a 65-inch TV. And had it been that different, I'm sure I would have upgraded sooner. Red Dead ran fine. Last of Us, all those games ran fine enough to me where I still enjoyed them and didn't have a impact. By the end, I was like, this could be a little prettier, but it's still the prettiest thing out there. Splitting hairs. Do I think it'll sell? I think it'll sell for two reasons. Number one, PS4 Pro didn't sell gangbusters. They're projecting this is going to sell the same. I don't think you're going to see this get over 20, 30 million. And I think when I get into good Sony, bad Sony, the problem that I've seen online is the way people are looking at this and framing this product in the grand scheme of the market. So do you want good Sony, bad Sony? And if so, which one do you want first?
Give me good Sony for this first.
So with good Sony, I think the way they structured the press conference was pretty clear on paper for enthusiasts of what you were getting. For your layman, that's where bad Sony comes in. But I think Mark Cerny coming out and saying, these were the three things we wanted to address. Here's how we're going to do them. Makes sense. It's a pretty clear value prop. Bad Sony, and this is where I'll give you your flowers, is why am I looking at The Last of Us 2? And this is not to say Sony has no games. You could have showed me Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You could have showed me Final Fantasy 16. You could have showed me Ragnarok. You could have showed me Forbidden West. You could have showed any Returnal. You could have showed me any this gen game, right?
Yep.
It didn't have to be a new game. I really thought that if they were going to do this, they'd have a new game. I still think we're going to stay at play. But bad Sony, I don't like that. To me was a clear misunderstanding where we're at the point in the gen where certain second party games that will benefit from this ran shitty. And granted, I think there's some messaging there where it's like, hey, Square Enix, you know how Final Fantasy 16 ran like shit sometimes? Can we say that it doesn't run like shit anymore on our... I get it. You know what I mean? There's a minefield there, but it can be navigated.
Yes, I do think there's also... The critique would have been if they did show Rebirth 16 and they showed third-party games.
But they did.
But the critique would have been, you're showing us not Sony games.
Which is fair, but like Ragnarok, gorgeous game.
Agreed.
Horizon Forbidden West, gorgeous game. Returnal, gorgeous game. Ratchet & Clank, gorgeous game. All came out on PS5 Pro.
Yep. And
they
they did show those, like in the compilation at the end, but and like throughout.
They did show it. Yes, you gave me a fun upgrade to Last of Us 2.
Nobody
cares. We're over it. Over it. We're done.
Do you think they focus so much on Last of Us 2 because they're about to launch like
the show? Yes.
No,
I think
they're going to make an announcement about The Last of Us 3.
I think you get show first. They're slated that the show's going to come out late spring, season 2, late spring, early summer.
Yep.
I think off of the critical success of that, maybe mid next year you get the Last of Us 3 teaser, old lady Ellie type thing, right?
And you don't think so? If we get the teaser next year, do you think it comes out on the PS5?
No, yes, I think Last of Us is traditionally the swan song of the console. At least that's kind of been the tradition.
That's fair.
3, 4. I think, Last of Us Part 3 on 5. Anyway, good Sony, bad Sony. Good Sony. The one chart that they should have released that they haven't released, so I guess this is bad Sony, that would have immediately put every driver installing, Microsoft Office sucking, Minesweeper playing, but I could build a PC for less. First of all, for 700, you can't. Shut up. It doesn't have a disk drive. First of all, great, your PC has a disk drive. You play on Steam. This was the number one. This was the number. Oh, the PC.
No. The PC people are not complaining about the disk drive. Sony people are complaining about the disk drive because they can't use their disks.
Which I get, but the argument that people were making to kneecap the price is, I could build a PC. No, you can't. And even if you can,
it wouldn't play this gen's games.
I can, with 2 cables and nothing else, set up a PlayStation.
Yes, the argument that for $700 that you can build a PC that is even close to a PS5, an Xbox, anything, any console. I would even give the Switch for $700. You're not getting a good machine. There's no way. And if you do it wrong, you bricked your $700.
Ding.
And there is a simplicity to what you were saying with HDMI cord in, power cord in, button on, done. You want to get a pre-built computer for $700 that's going to be able to run this gen's games? Zero chance. You want to maybe build one because you know computers better than 90% of people out there? You might be able to do it. The general public cannot.
So that I just wanted to put in the ground right away. Right?
And number one PC fanboy, Asmongold, makes the same claim. $700 PC, no shot.
Right? I also, and this is the main thing that I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And this is not a shot, it's a comparative point. Right now, Series X 2 terabyte drive is going for $600 on Best Buy. Mm-hmm. So we're $100 apart. $100 for a machine that is
What's the terabytes on the PS5?
2 terabytes, right? So equivalent storage, right? Mm-hmm. You're $100 apart for a machine that no longer needs to differentiate between quality and performance mode, which I do think for the people that care is a big selling point.
I mean, they showed it. It's 75% of people.
Right?
Yeah. They did a very good job showing that this will solve an issue that 75% of the player base experiences.
And I think for that $100 difference, there's 2 points I want to make. Number one, and I made this point last week, 2 weeks ago, I've been ringing this bell. That $10 price increase in games that we got, your standard, PS2 to PS3 was $50 to $60. PS3, like that order of magnitude change has been evaporated in the last 3.5 years by inflation.
Agreed.
If you don't think that Xbox Series Z and PS6 are in real money going to start at $650 in 4 years, 5 years, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself.
But we're not there yet.
But hold on. My point is, because by the time we get there, the component price will go down. You see that overall. And then PS6 Pro will cost $1,000. Rough number math there. The second thing I want to say is, for the people who don't have the money for this, don't buy it. Right? Number one. Number two, this is clearly an enthusiast product. This is not for the guy playing just Madden and 2K every year. Okay? If I want a MacBook, I can go get the baseline MacBook. $1,200. It'll do my email. It'll watch my Hulu, my Netflix, right?
And you'd be overpaying.
My point is, if I want a highly spec'd machine that can edit video, that can render After Effects, that can do... you pay a price tag for the output that you get out of it, right? PC is the same thing. If I went to Dell, I could get a fucking ThinkPad for $3. In fact, they'd pay me to take the Dell because of what a shame it is. Lenovo doesn't even have an office just because of the...
Yep. You just turn those bad boys around at
Oh, I almost went on a tangent.
Almost.
They're giving away the computers at Lenovo.
Yep. Waiting for it.
I want somebody to make a remix of that. They're giving away the good. Dell and Lenovo. They're giving away the computers. Terrible computers. Worst
Make
ones.
your point about it not being that expensive.
No.
As a niche product for the enthusiast, it's fine.
Correct. It is expensive. However, it's expensive. The people who are willing to buy this and who have the means to do so do not care about the $180 price differential because they are committed to a machine like this. The guy who is strapped for cash and is worried about the $180 between the base PS5 and the PS5 Pro, newsflash, that guy should not be buying a PS5 anyway.
So here's
like,
the
does
thing.
that make sense? Like, everybody who's, how am I going to afford it? Like, if you don't have the money for this, you're an adult or a child, in which case nothing you say matters.
Yep. So here's the thing. I don't think that the only people out here are saying, I cannot afford it. I think there is a big cry of it is too expensive for the upgrade you were getting.
But then don't. But like, here's what I don't understand about people.
But
then speak with your wallet, because most of these people will still buy it.
If you complain about it and still buy it, you're an idiot. It's why I haven't bought any new Pokemon products.
I knew what you were gonna say.
But the issue is that the people complaining about it are that niche audience. So they are mad that they didn't get anywhere near the upgrade they wanted. They still don't have games, and now they're getting charged an extra $200 for it. Because they are that diehard fan base that wants this product. They wanted it to be good, and it wasn't.
But good is subjective, number one, because I think the second this comes out in November, you're going to,
we'll find out.
Here's the one thing that I think people would be setting themselves on fire for that this doesn't have. To my knowledge, there's like a weird thing with it, but it's very mealy mouth. It doesn't have the auto unlock thing that you guys have on Xbox where it can run any game at any frame rate. If they came out and were like $700, you could run Bloodborne at 60 frames a second, it would look like Space Marine 2. People would be climbing up walls over other people to get, Red Dead? At 60 frames a second?
I don't think so. Nobody is buying a whole new console.
You underestimate the Red Dead and the Bloodborne fans, Matthew.
It's just not true. That's not true. No one, and honestly, if you are, buy a computer. You should be buying a computer. Like, if you care that much about frame rate, you should buy a computer. You're telling me that the difference between running Bloodborne in its current state at 30 versus 60, you think that's worth $700? It's not. It's just not.
Here's my question though. What? And because you make a upgrade, you make an upgrade price fallacy that I think is going to only affect the top 10% of people. Because I think you're quickly going to see top 10% of people have a PS5 and have the disposable income where they can buy an additional PS5 Pro.
So here's the thing. Before we get onto this, your big selling point of the PS5 Pro was that it is now the premier way to play a backlog. And that it is now the point of entry for PS5 because all the people that have been holding out for the PS5 now are going to buy the Pro. That will not happen.
No, I don't think so. And again, good Sony, bad Sony. Bad Sony, I think you could have widened the spread, knock regular PS5 down $50, right? Just as a show of good faith.
They increased it.
Right?
Or no, yeah, they increased it
the
and
controller.
The controllers. Yep.
Which shows me two things.
Yep.
Because we've kind of really said as much as we can say. I'll put a button in PS5 Pro, and then I want to turn it over to you to say that we need a state of play tomorrow. And I need to see Ghost of Tsushima after Shogun won all of these Emmys. You know, Jin Sakai running through the field with his hand in the wheat. I need that. I need it now. That'll help kind of alleviate a little bit of this. But also, what I don't think people are understanding in terms of the economic realities of day-to-day life is everything is about to cost exponentially more than we think it is, or expect it to be, or are accustomed to. I am firm in my resolve that we'll see the $80 price point norm this generation. They're not going to wait.
Like before
PS6.
I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to do it with the PS6.
I also think that Xbox players and I think Nintendo players should be prepared that whatever they thought things were going to cost for Super Switch, for the handheld that Sony is definitely now going to try to make.
You mean Microsoft?
No, I think...
Or like a new handheld.
A new handheld. Oh. I wouldn't be surprised... This is pie in the sky, so if you'll allow me, I wouldn't be surprised if you get a Switch competitor from Sony that is a PS4 Pro that docks, and that becomes your entry level.
Really? You think they're just going to copy Nintendo?
Why not? It works. Steam Deck did.
I get
it works. You think Microsoft is just going to copy Apple? It works.
I guess I would love it because I think that is the peak way to do it. I don't think Sony would give up the fidelity of their games.
No, I think you create the entry level vertical. I think you give me a PS Portal that can also play games, PS4 games, and some... Look.
Yeah, but they were barely able to make one that... Like, they made one that you can't even download games to it or play it offline.
The double-edged knife of releasing so many games cross-platform for PS5 and PS4, right? Ragnarok, Horizon...
Yep.
Was that if you gave me a PS4 Pro handheld, it could probably run those. And on a small enough screen, the Switch is proof, Tears of the Kingdom is proof, are not going to really pixel peep and be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, but the docked version is going to be the issue. Because then you're going to tell me that Sony's going to make 3 versions of some of their games? They're going to have to make the dumbed down one for handheld.
No. Same game, runs at different fidelities. Just like right now, it runs on different fidelities. Look, you paid a lower price, you got a lower product. You pay a higher price, you get a higher product. That's with anything. That's with food. That's with shoes. They're
not going to do that. I don't think they do it. It's
Mark, that's my Nostradamus' next prediction.
Listen,
I will come down from the mountain with my tablet to invoke some religious iconography, and etched into the tablet... In the next 18 months, we get a Sony handheld. That's a portable PlayStation 4 Pro. And it costs $450.
But it also needs to be a PS5 though. Like it needs to be the entry level of PS5.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what it would have. That crossover would have the PS5 UI, but it'd be spec'd as a PS4 Pro.
Maybe. I don't even know how to disagree with you at this point. So listen, maybe
Nostra Bobby has come down from the mountain.
So
tell me what you think about this, Matt.
I think the PS5 Pro is coming at a bad time for Sony. And I think it's at a time where they thought this was not going to be that big of a deal because they were going to have Marathon, they were going to have Last of Us Factions or whatever the live service game was, and they were going to have Concord. And I think that they thought they were going to have more when this hardware was developed. There is no way that in Sony's plan for the PS5 generation, they were like, yeah, so the year that we don't release any first-party games is when we're going to drop our console that's $200 more expensive than our current console. No shot. Second, I agree with you. They need a state of play tomorrow. And it needs to be good. And they need a game at the end of the year. Because I am not here for, in 2025, you'll be able to play it. You shouldn't have released the console then. You should have held off. They need a game this year. And I think unless that happens, we're going to see less than stellar numbers for the PS5 Pro. For currently, the PlayStation 5 is about 46 million. How many do you think sell for the PS5 Pro? Because you're saying 20 million?
Cumulative by end of life cycle, not...
How many? I think you maybe get 1 million by the end of the year.
No, you're underselling. I'll split the difference. I'll give you 7 by the end of the year.
You think 7 million?
Because what you're missing is a lot of people, as what I was saying before, the top 10% of people who buy a PS5 Pro are going to buy it as an additive console. Most people, GameStop is running right now. They'll give you $450 for your PS5. Which means that for just about, $300 and change, which is less than the price of a new PS5, you get the Pro. I think you're going to see a lot of that. But what about the scalpers? We didn't talk about the scalpers. Let's talk about them.
Do you think availability-wise?
Sony already cut this. They said you can get it through Sony. That was me drawing the Sony logo for our audio listeners. They said you can get it through us first, and then we'll release stock to Amazon and Best Buy and whatever, Circuit City. And
how does that doesn't stop scalpers?
Of course, it gets one place, one purchase order, right? And there'll always be people with the dupe emails and this and that.
I bought 3 Xboxes from Microsoft the day it released. There's no limit on how many of these you can get. Sometimes
there is. Yeah, of course. What are you talking about? When a new iPhone comes out, it says limit 2 per purchase.
Hold on. I'm going to try to pre-order it right now.
I don't think it's up for pre-order, is it?
Oh, you're right. It's at the end of it's like the 25th or something, right? Damn. All right. Well, that's fine. Listen, maybe the scalpers are an issue. So
they're not. They never were. They never were.
This was my actual question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is a impossible to find item, or do you think it's just you'll see them on the shelf?
Coin toss. I don't think I have enough info to tell you one way or the other. When I went to Target a couple weeks ago, I saw a portal, and then a day later, I saw 2 or 3 portals in the display case. Rather, a day later, I went back, all gone.
Nice.
So I don't have a good answer for you on that one. I don't know. I think the next 50 days or so, plus minus whatever the hell happens with the election, my hope is that the biggest problems we face as a people is that we're not going to be able to find the PS5 Pro.
Yep, me too. What do you think? So you think 7 million by the end of this year, by December 31st, 2024.
Yeah, it sounds right.
What number do you think they would consider this a massive failure?
I think 1 million for sure.
Yeah, okay. Like, what do you think they want from this? Like, where do you think they're classifying this as this was a success? Because if you're saying the top 10%, that's 4.6 million.
Well, I mean, do the math. PS4 Pro sold 20, came out 16. PS5 came out 20, right? That's 5 million a year. I think anything under that, they'll be pretty butthurt. That means they're under pace.
Well, I don't think 5 million this year would be a success, because if you look at that 20 million, it was definitely not 5 million per year every year. It was grossly front loaded.
Listen, man, you're splitting hairs here. What do you want me to say? They sell PSVR 2 numbers?
No, like at the end of the year.
The greatest VR console ever?
At the end of the year, what do you think Sony's success margin is for this? Is it 5 million, 7 million?
I'll give you 5 because I like the number. I think it's going to sell 7.
All right. Let us know in the comments below. How many do you think the PS5 is going to sell by the end of 2024? Do you think it's going to be closer to 1, 2, 3, 7, 15 million? What if I'm just wrong? What if fundamentally the entire world is wrong and it's just like, nah, sold 40 million in 3 months? How did you even do it, Sony? How did you even do it? Still no. They'll never release a game again.
So here's what's going to happen. So here's what's going to happen. I don't have tinfoil. I wish I did, but tinfoil hat. How would they sell 40 million? Oh, I don't know. Are we headed like a train towards a broken train track, towards an economic recession? The only thing that's going to save us if Jerome Powell floods the market with more money. Hold on, because he could do it. He'll wait till tomorrow.
Not at $700.
They gave everybody $2,800 for staying home.
No one's buying a PS5.
They gave. Let me remind you that not too long ago, during the tenure of this podcast, they paid people to stay home. They paid people 4 PS5 Pros to stay home.
Maybe.
Jacob, and for $2,800, you still can't build a great PC.
For $2,800,
you don't know anything.
You can buy a really good PC.
Why don't you quit TurboTax? Oh, your screen went blue, didn't it, dummy?
All right. Well, if you like what you heard here, if you want to know more about financial context for industry trends, specifically focused on the video game industry,
I'm fired up today.
Like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you never miss a single second of the Playconomics podcast. And remember, as always,
happy gaming.